If someone insults us, shall we say our thought which comes in my mind? Should we ignore it? And if yes, then till how much should we ignore? There's a story I told earlier. Somebody wrote Mahatma Gandhi a letter. It was of 2 pages. And when the postman delivered it, he was sitting with somebody, and he opened the letter and he started reading it. After he read the letter, it had a pin in it. He took out the pin quietly and crumpled the letter and threw it in the bin. The man sitting said, "That's quite cruel. That's quite insensitive. Somebody must have written you this letter with great love, yet you have just discarded it." Gandhi said, "No, this letter just had abuses. The man was swearing at me. He wrote very abusive language. He was insulting me. That's why I threw it away." And the man said, "Why did you then keep the pin? Doesn't make sense." And Gandhi said, "I have kept the only useful thing in the letter. I have kept what I'm going to reuse in the future. His abusive language, I'm not going to reuse, so I haven't kept it with me, but his pin, I will reuse, and that's what I've kept with me." When somebody insults you, there is no absolute yes or no that go, give them a piece of your mind or overlook it and don't react. But at any rate, you don't have to give the answer back right away, because that moment you're agitated and that moment you're hurt. If you're going to answer that moment, chances are you will say things that you didn't mean to say. And then it'll become even more complicated. So let some time pass, maybe a day, 2 days, 3 days, and you tell them, "Look, I'd like to speak to you. And I want to tell you the greatest secret, which the movie didn't tell you today. If you ever want to be heard by anybody in life, doesn't matter who that person is across the table, if you want to be heard, if you want to make sure they hear you out, then learn to speak in the same tone without raising your voice. Learn to speak to them as you would do very lovingly to them when you are telling them how much they mean to you. Tell in the same tone that how hurt you were. And they would offer you an explanation or something. Don't react. Say, "Look, I can't stop you. I'm just telling you that I felt hurt with what you did or what you said." If you don't raise your voice, they will listen to you. But the moment you talk disrespectfully, or you raise your voice, or you attack, then they will not listen to you. They will go on the defensive foot. When you want to make a point, make it as non-judgmentally as possible. What I mean by that is, if somebody says something back to you, you can't go and tell them, that you always do this to me, or you just are very insensitive, or you just don't know how to speak, or you just don't have any sense in you. This is attacking the other person. This is passing a judgment. This is telling them what you think about them. You are not there to tell them what you think about them. You are there to tell them what hurt you about what they said or did. So if you stay focused on that, people won't insult you as much, especially those who know you, those who love you, those who are around you. And when you develop that air about you, that you mean business and you are not somebody who insults others, it will be very hard for others to insult you. And those who don't know you, there may be many among those who will insult you, but it's not something you need to take seriously. There was a man, he went to heaven. He was at the pearly gates and he was stopped by the angel there, St. Peter, and he said, "Look, I'm looking at your record. there is not a good karma you've ever done. I don't see any good record, so I can't let you be in heaven even for a minute. He said, that can't be right. I once saved a girl from some guys, very rude guys. He said, oh, did you? What happened then? He said, I was just outside this bar, and some very drunk men, big built, they had parked their Harley Davidsons on the side, and they were teasing this girl. And I walked in like a Rambo, and I said, don't you dare touch her or say anything to her. I'm going to kill all of you. But he said, they beat the hell out of me. They beat the crap out of me. And he said, oh, I don't see this in the record. When did this happen? He said, just a minute ago. So he was dead, basically. They killed him. So when you confront somebody, you need to know the strength of the other person. So if they have insulted you, you need to know how to tackle it tactfully. You know what I'm saying? You have to be tactful. You can't just be brute, because that won't solve any purpose. If we give them a reply in their manner, then we have stooped to their level. But you are bigger than them. Doesn't mean you have to keep taking insult. Like I said, learn the method of communicating properly. And it was one of the things I mentioned on my blog when I announced the retreat, the art of communication. And all the things you've talked with discipline of words, with discipline in your life, with mindfulness, with meditation, you will automatically learn the art of communication. Before you say anything, just make it a point to not hurt the other person. And then you will always find a way to say what you want to say with, causing the least amount of hurt. And if you don't cause hurt, if you don't hurt others, you will be more happy for sure.